Hi everyone. In our submission we are going to explore the capability of RunnerH in performing legal reasoning, right? So for this very interesting case we are going to take a real world scenario, right? So our context is going to be a Sri Lankan legal context where we are going to take some of the statutes related to law, particularly in employment law. So based on that we are going to evaluate whether how far the RunnerH is able to reason, right? RunnerH AI is able to reason. So to elaborate that, so we have taken two statutes. One is Employee Provident Fund and the other one is Employee Trust Fund Act. These are the acts which provide some benefits to the employees, especially for those who are working in private sector, because they are not getting pension at their retirement. So to specifically highlight here, there are two funds. For one fund is Employee Provident Fund, where the employee and employer will contribute to that fund. So after meeting certain requirements, the employee will be able to get the fund. For example, if a person reaches 55 years old, they can get that fund, right? For basically just like a pension for government servants, this will serve as a benefit for the private sector employees. So here the law says the employee will contribute 8% of his total earnings. For example, if the employee gets 100,000, he will have to contribute 8%, that is 8,000 as a EPF fund. At the same time, on behalf of the employee, the employer will have to pay 12%. So altogether, for example, if an employee makes 100,000 a month, this 8% plus 12%, so it means around 20% will be contributed to the EPF fund. That will be 20,000. I will show you in Excel how this working, and then I will take you to the RunnerH and we will evaluate there whether it is able to correctly reason and come up with the ideal answer. Right, this is one part. The second part of the law is Employee Trust Fund. Here the Employee Trust Fund is only contributed by the employer. So here that is 3%. For example, if the employee makes 100,000 a month, 3%, 3,000 will be contributed by the employer, right? So these are the two laws we have taken for the example. So I have extracted this here. Just if you are interested, you can read and understand, right? So based on that, here is the calculation we have manually calculated, right? This is actually done by the HR people when they recruit people, because these are statutory requirements they have to abide by, right? So for example, if you take an employee gets 100,000, the EPF deduction on the part of the employee will be 8%. So that is 8,000 rupees. So the take home salary will be 100,000 minus 8,000. So he will get 92,000 as a take home salary. This 8,000 will be contributed to the EPF fund. At the same time, on behalf of the employee, employer also has to make 12%. That will be 12,000. So for example, if an employee gets 100,000, the fund that will be contributed to the EPF will be 20,000. This 8,000 plus 12,000, 20,000. At the same time, on behalf of the employer will contribute 3% as the ETF fund, Employee Trust Fund, that will be 3,000. So here if we do the calculation, if someone gets 100,000, his take home salary will be 92,000, because 8% will be contributed to the EPF fund. At the same time, even though the employee gets 92,000, this 20,000 per month will be contributed to his EPF fund or EPF account, so that at the end of at meeting the requirements he will be able to withdraw that fund. For example, as I told you earlier, when the employee reaches 55 years he can get this fund. And at the same time, per month the employer will also contribute 3%, right? So for an annum, if someone gets 100,000, it will be 36,000. Anyway, even though the employee gets 92,000 take home salary, this 23,000 per month will be contributed to his EPF fund and ETF fund respectively. So 20,000 will go to this EPF fund, 3,000 will go to this ETF fund, right? This is a law, right? Now what we are going to do is we are going to evaluate whether RunnerH agent is able to do this legal reasoning and come up with this calculation without going through this Excel calculation, right? So let me come to this interface, right? So here I'm going to make this fully automated, so there won't be any manual interference here, right? So first, now what we are going to do is we are going to upload the law, right? Relevant law. So I'm going to upload these two law, right? Employee Provident Fund Act and also Employee Trust Fund Act. Now these two files are uploaded. So if you go here, file, you can see there are two files. We have uploaded ETF and also EPF Act. Right, now I have written the prompt. I will explain one by one and we will see whether we get the exact same output or not. Right, now I go to run. From there I am giving the prompt, right? So now by referring the legal documents, you can add the edge symbol so that if the files are uploaded it will be shown, right? So we are going to ask RunnerH to refer these two documents in answering these questions. And Employee Provident Fund, right? Right, we have taken two files here, right? We have referred two files and we are telling to answer these questions, right? I will explain one by one, right? Now we are given the almost similar scenario, right? We are asking the RunnerH to assume an employer who is working as a software engineer in ABC Private Limited in Sri Lanka earns a monthly salary of 100,000. Now we are asking the series of questions and let's let it run and see whether it can read the document and make a legal reasoning and come up with the conclusion. Great. Now we see. Now we have given, right? So let's understand the response. To calculate the requested information based on the provided legal documents. Now first we ask the monthly salary. So it has taken from the prompt itself. So we are giving the assumption that the monthly salary is 100,000. So it is considered that. Then we are asking the second question, his monthly take-home salary after EPF deduction. We didn't give anything. We only gave the legal provisions in the PDF file version. It has gone through and it is understood. The employee contributes 8% of their salary to the EPF. So in that case, if the salary is 100,000, the employee contribution is 8,000. So his take-home salary will be 92,000. You see, it's perfect, right? This is done perfectly. Then the other task, amount of EPF contribution by the employer. We refer the law and we check that it is 12%, right? It should be 12,000 for 100,000. So we have got the same answer, exactly, perfect. Now amount of ETF contribution by the employer. So our question was amount of ETF contribution by the employer, right? So that is 3,000. Why? Because 3%. The law says it should be 3%, so 3,000. Now we have asked how much fund will be added to his EPF account annually. You know the EPF contribution is 8,000 plus 12,000, so 20,000 per month for a salary of 100,000. So we already found that as well. So 12,000 plus 8,000. So here, how much fund will be added to his EPF account annually? So total annual EPF contribution, employee plus employer, that is 8,000 plus 12,000. So that is 20,000 per month, and multiplied by 12, we have got the perfect answer, 240,000. Now last question we asked, how much fund will be added to his ETF account? So for 100,000, 3%, that is 3,000. So 3,000 multiplied by 12, we get 36,000. Here also we will sum up these two and multiplied by 12 months. So we get 240,000, and here we get 36,000. So that also we have got perfectly. And it also provides a disclaimer. This analysis is based on the current understanding of the legal documents and percentages mentioned within them. It is highly recommended to consult a legal practitioner or financial advisor for any exams based on these calculations. It's an AI-based interpretation, may not encompass all the complexities of legal requirements. Perfect, right? So you see the power of RunnerH agent, right? Even sometimes these are difficult to be understood by HR professionals unless they are experts in legal practicing, right? So however, now RunnerH is able to reason perfectly, and it has come up with the exact identical answer. So thank you very much, and we just love this wonderful platform, and we are willing to experiment more with this legal reasoning. Thank you very much. Have a great day.